now I'm going to talk about part 3 of Away from Buddhism. So I spoke before about the little objects that I threw away, and of course all the spiritual things that are happening as well when you let go. Some of them I mentioned. I will probably mention others in different videos. But the next thing that happened was actually amazing, because Graham, so kind of similar time frame when I had my experience that I spoke about before, he went to Cyprus for the first time. Oh yeah, so I also had some bigger objects, Buddhist objects here in my flat, which have a little bit of an interesting financial value. And so did Graham. He had in Manchester Buddhist objects, and which had quite a nice value. And he went to Cyprus for the first time. And in Cyprus, he went to see a very special nun in the first nunnery or monastery that was created in Cyprus ever. And she was actually the abbess of that monastery, or nunnery, better to say. And she had a long talk with him, and she told him lots of things about his life that she normally could not know. And amongst those things, she recommended him. She said to him that he's been exploring other pathways, and in order to learn and one of them was Buddhism, and now it is time for him to get rid of the objects, of all the occultist objects. Or I don't know if she said to sell them or give them away or whatever, but to get rid of them. And I thought that was extraordinary, because at the same time, a similar time up here in Scotland, I had exactly the experience with God telling me, that time is over. So he came back to Manchester, and I took all of my bigger objects that I still had here in boxes, and I had lots of boxes, and carted them all to the station and went by train to Manchester and gave them to Graham, so that we could hand them over to somebody who promised to sell them for us. And I tell you guys, not one penny we received, not one penny. And the amazing thing is, we were cheated out of the money, and we were asked, God or Christ, we had basically as an answer, you're not meant to, because that came from the other side, all these things, so you can't have the money from that. And while we were still, the objects were still in custody in someone else's house, the guy who was supposed to look after them for us and sell them. Graham sometimes thought, oh, maybe, this or that object I'm going to get back, I'm going to use, God is going to bless it for me. None, absolutely none of them, nothing of those things ever. He never laid eyes on any of those, and neither did he get any penny for that. So if it comes from the other side, it'll all be taken away. And of course, all the spiritual letting go is a subject I touched on earlier a little bit, but I guess it's going to come up in more of my videos. So I think this is the third part of this little bundle of videos with the subject Away from Buddhism. Sorry for the thing being so wobbly, but yeah, it's hard to hold still when you're excited.